We are back. You are chatting with John P. Today, we are going to be talking about some watches that may not be totally clear whether they're for men or women. So, men and women can both wear these watches. I think it's very interesting, kind of the trend that we've identified here. I've got some notes on some of these brands that are kind of going to like this gender neutral / unisex type style, or at least the way that they're marketing some of these things. Interesting, and I'm really looking forward to sharing this information with you. Today on the wrist, what do you have? Federico from Federico Talks Watches.
Still rocking the Messina Lab Uniracer.
You love that, don't you? You're always wearing it every day.
I enjoy the vintage-inspired look without, like, the commitment of a vintage watch. What about you? You got a weird one.
I have something, guys, very special, actually, and we have a couple of these maybe at delraywatch.com left.
Not listed yet. They're still going through cataloging at the moment.
Okay, so this is a romaine jerome spacecraft. There's a couple different versions, including a partnership version with Elaine Silberstein. It's a cassette watch. There'll be a picture here. And the interesting thing about these watches, in my opinion, is that it looks just like something that the brand Urwerk might come out with, but at probably a tenth of the price. And still very high end.
And it's got an in-house movement by Mr. I cannot pronounce his name, Weidenrecht. I butchered that. I apologize. But very high-end watchmaker as well.
Very cool. And that's something that we always love to bring into delraywatch.com. Kind of value,
things
high-end.
People don't have.
Yeah.
Just like high horology at great value prices. We love that stuff.
Awesome. Also, you can check him out, Federico Talks Watches. So let's get into it. Watches that are designed to be gender neutral or unisex. The 1159 by Audemars Piguet. That came out, very polarizing watch model. What do you think of the 1159?
I think it's gross.
But we've had some at Delray Watch.
Listen, people like it. It's a good watch. I don't like the design. It's austere. It's like contemporary minimalist. It's lazy.
So I have 6.5-inch wrists, and my wrist is on the higher end for probably an average woman, and on the lower end for a man. Obviously, it depends on who you are.
A woman's wrist.
But the beautiful thing is, Audemars Piguet came out with this watch so that it could fit either a man or a woman and look appropriate and also wear appropriate. So the lugs curve down, and it is comfortable, I think, on not only my wrist, but your wrist as well.
Theoretically, it is a man's watch. What is it, like 41?
Well, it is 41, but it specifically does not have a gender. The president of AP came out and said it's supposed to be gender neutral.
Which I think is a smart move. Because, listen, people ask me all the time, is this a man or a lady's watch? It doesn't matter. You wear what you like. There's no such thing as a man. Your money's green, right? Well then, if it fits your wrist and you like it, wear it.
And that's the direction.
I learned that at retail. People used to walk in, point at a 34mm diamond watch. Is this a lady's watch? Absolutely not. Looks great on you. That's...
But guys, that's the direction that brands are going in. And we see it also with Rolex with the OP36 or even the 36 Datejust. The 36 Datejust wears a little bit smaller. We just got one in. Still very great, but it does wear on the smaller end. And so if you walk into a Rolex boutique, they are not going to tell you the OP36 is for a man or a woman. Absolutely not.
No, they're going to say it's unisex. But they're going to tell you everything 34 and over is unisex.
Even when you walk into a boutique, if it's a men's section or a women's section, unless it's clearly, has diamonds and gems and is clearly very small, 31mm size, it's going to be in a section of the case where it's like, this is not clear if this is a men's section or a women's section.
And I think it's a very smart move economically, because why segment your customer base? Sell them to both. Especially nowadays, men's watches are starting to trend smaller. Ladies' watches are starting to trend bigger. You're going to meet in the middle, just like a lot of these models.
And it's interesting. The Rolex OP36, I bought one from an AD the other day, and on either side of the watch, you had a 31mm, and on the other side, you had actually a men's Yachtmaster. So it's kind of interesting how they put it there and kind of let you decide what you want that to be. And we also see that, and now this one's interesting because this is from a brand where you wouldn't maybe expect this, and this is the Patek Philippe 38mm recent release of the Calatrava Pilot watch.
Well, yeah, didn't they actually call this a ladies' watch?
So the thing is, it was originally called a ladies' watch, though recently when you look at their website, they don't specifically call it women's or ladies or anything like that on their website. And that also goes for the Golden Ellipse watch. It does not have a gender on the website.
Well, it's just because you turn off, like, somebody with your wrist size who wants the 38, if it's a perfect size for you, you get turned off if you hear it's a lady's watch. It's a psychological thing. I think once again, I'm repeating myself, but it's an awful business decision to segment it by gender.
And the interesting thing is, it was so much less desirable than the larger size because, in my opinion, they were kind of tacking on ladies to it. But then they come out, they remove the ladies, and all of a sudden, this is a watch that is purchased by quite literally anyone that can get it.
Sure, absolutely. You see what a little label can do? Let me see what else you got here.
We have on the list the Nomos Club.
Yeah. I mean, this is also a very classically styled watch. Make it in a variety of sizes. Nomos never, ever specified a gender with their watch. They just put a size. I think it's like 35 or 36, 38, and 40?
Yeah, they've got a couple of sizes. And the interesting about Nomos is gender is almost entirely removed from the brand in the equation, right? You go to some brands like a Tag Heuer or even an Omega, and you get a lot of action shots, guys in cars, guys holding an axe or something like that.
Nomos is like a pencil.
Yeah, Nomos is a pencil in a hand where you're not sure because the hand is very well manicured and you can't tell if it's a men's or a women's hand, and it's just the hand and maybe like a cuff of like a parka where it could be a men's or women's. You really don't know, and I don't know. I actually
great marketing.
Is it though? I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I'm not sure if this actually hurts or helps them. I can see it going both ways.
Listen, I've sold many hundreds of thousands of dollars by specifically removing gender from the equation of watches.
But have you sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of Nomos?
I don't know. Maybe. Probably not.
With the average price points, I think it's
I don't think so.
No. I would love to hear your opinions in the comments below. Do you think that when a brand completely removes the gender there from the equation that it hurts or helps the brand? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. Next, the Speedmaster Omega Speedmaster 38. They make this watch in the same exact form factor, size, case, in different styles. There are some that are clearly very feminine, and there's some that are clearly very masculine.
And I think that's very smart because the feminine ones are obviously geared towards females, but there's a lot of men that like bling or that like mother of pearl, and they could rock those feminine watches as well, maybe change the strap to a different color or something. Once again, I think the fluidity of this is extremely intelligent, in my opinion.
I think it does make sense. I mean, I just want to see, I'd love to see the insights from the actual brands because, we're trading here primarily pre-owned and, we're selling watches as watches. We don't actually have marketing trying to show the watches in any kind of context. We're selling them as raw items and as collectors' things and not necessarily selling the experience, which brands are doing.
Not at all. I mean, the brands sell the experience. We just sell the item at a better price.
That is true. Now, this one is going to hit very close to home for you, Mr. Cartier. The medium size. They actually call it small, medium, large, and extra large. They don't even tell you anymore. I mean, they've totally removed it. The 35, it's technically 35 in diameter. The medium Cartier Santos.
The Santos?
The Santos has a medium. It's 35.
This was always a ladies' watch. I mean, it was it's always a ladies' watch, but I'd say they don't market it and it's intelligent, but I'd say 98% of purchasers of that watch are female. In my experience, I don't know, it's not a real figure, I just made that up, but I'm guessing,
It's just interesting, right? I mean, even when you look at the sizes aren't even totally indicative of the actual wrist presence anymore. This is a 29 millimeters. Look how big this is. 29 millimeters.
Yeah, and this is...
It's not 29. It's 47.
This is a 39, which is a smaller 39 because very short lugs.
It's getting lost into your wrist.
Yeah, but, I'm rocking the classic look. I don't know. Listen, I get it. I think it's a very smart move. That's just my opinion.
Understood. And lastly, one watch left The Cartier Pasha.
Which one?
Just in general. This is a watch I always see on females so
Agreed.
often.
I mean, but it's a model
Out of
line.
any watch.
It's a model line that's been dead and buried since the early 2000s. Yeah, I mean, listen, some classic Pashas in a vintage-looking context make sense. Like George Kramer, a famous Cartier Instagrammer, can rock a Pasha in a context, right? It goes well with his outfit, but a guy in a polo jeans and like a modern Pasha is not something that happens often, in my opinion. It has a female context.
Interesting though, right? Because I mean, even in the what we're classified as men's watches now, I only see on women. Only.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Cartier reinvented it, is they're trying to kind of, once again, if you want a Pasha in your man, nothing wrong with it, but it has been predominantly adopted by
These are just
females.
trends. These are just things we notice as watch dealers.
Yeah, they've been adopted by, predominantly females, you're right.
But I think we would love to hear your opinions on if the brands are going in the right direction, or maybe you think that it's a little bit alienating for you. Always love to hear your comments, questions, and opinions in the comment section below. And this, guys, also, this is not like a gender study kind of conversation. This is just a trend, and this is something that's in the watch industry that we've noticed, and we think it's very interesting. So love to hear your comments below. Also, please do not forget the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Check out delraywatch.com and Federico on Federico Talks Watches. We have... do we have anything to do today?
Yeah, we have a whole shipment of romaine jeromes to process. I've got some editing to do, and it's also Friday, so I'd like to spend some time at the pool if I can.
So we have some things to do, guys. Anyways, we'll see you next time. You've been chatting with John P. Ciao.